All right, y'all. It's your boy Mixtape Muff in the building, and we are talking about the duo of Westside Gunn and Conway the Machine, known as Hall and Nash. Now, oftentimes when I think of duos who are known for their chemistry and their ill back and forths, the following names instantly pop up: Ray and Ghost, Styles and Jada, Tech and Steel, Eric and Parrish, and Smooth the Hustler, and Sugar the Gambler. Of course, there's more, but you get the idea. But as you can see, those artists were from the 90s generation. However, when we talk about duos who have emerged during the 2010s, then Westside Gunn and Conway the Machine should be mentioned in more rap duo conversations. Getting right into Hall and Nash 2, it was produced entirely by the Alchemist, and it contains songs that were recorded about 7 years ago. A few of the songs had already either been featured on Alchemist EPs, or they had already been previously heard as unreleased tracks on YouTube. These were songs that day one Griselda fans likely knew about. So to be clear, none of these tracks are new, but now they have officially seen the light of day with this release. And this is the follow-up to their 2015 EP, Hall and Nash, which is not on streaming services, but you can listen to it on Bandcamp and YouTube. But let me know in the comment section, did y'all listen to this original? Did y'all own a copy of that Hall and Nash EP? Because I gotta be honest, I hadn't heard it until just a couple days ago. I know, that's awful, but for some context, I didn't really start listening to Griselda until around 2017. Yes, I know, very late to the party, but now I think I'm up to speed. So Hall and Nash 2, it contains just 9 songs, lasting approximately 30 minutes. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with this track-by-track breakdown. The opening song, Introduction, has the psychedelic electric guitar that has a signature Alchemist feel since around, let's say, the mid-2010 mark. You had one verse from the Machine, which was cool, but not exactly mind-blowing. And Gunn was talking his talk at the end. So as a whole, it was a cool tone setter that does bring you into their world. Track 2, Rey Mysterio. It was originally featured on Alchemist's Bread EP, so most had heard it already. But Uncle Al, he laced this duo with this very dark, luxurious beat that's slower and spacious, but still richly textured. You can instantly tell that this was an older song just by Gunn's opening lines. Turn Judas for those Yeezy Season 3. Conway has a dope verse as well. I particularly dug his wordplay on lines like, name a rapper that's half as ill that can match the skill that's half as real. So altogether, Rey Mysterio was one of those essential Griselda songs if you are a huge fan. Track 3, Fork in the Pot, features Schoolboy Q, and it has this chilly, atmospheric production that feels 70s blaxploitation, but also like something that you could ride around the city to on a foggy morning. It has that plush crime caper aesthetic going. We get Westside Gunn sounding energetic on the hook, and both Conway and Schoolboy are rapping aggressively over this smooth beat, which is a nice contrast. Yeah, it's definitely one of the standouts from the project. Next is Michelangelo, which is backed by this ultra haunting Alchemist beat. It's otherworldly, but still something that you might find playing in a dark corridor somewhere in the underworld. I feel Gunn has a solid verse. Some of his imagery definitely pops, like when he mentioned Raekwon's Supreme collab. And Gunn, he gives another nod to the woo with my seed marry his seed, wedding 100 G's. I'd sell my soul for 100 keys. And I had to stop and think, why is Westside Gunn talking about selling his soul so much on this project? He mentions it at least 4 times, so spooky. And of course, Conway takes a jab at Funk Flex for not playing Griselda's music. This will not be the first. So you can tell the tensions Machine had with Hot 97 had been going on for some time. Right after, we do get 94 Ghost Shit, and it's a complete banger that I would say is a classic in the Griselda world. The title alone, it just conjures up such rugged, imagery. I mean, picturing Ghostface in that 1993, 1994 time. The Alchemist production, it will give you the instant screw face. And I think a track like this is also where those rolling, pulsating keys that we are familiar with on Griselda projects likely originated. Y'all know the ones I'm talking about. And the Machine, he really went off for 2 verses, just flexing so much hunger, and I love the flow as well. Some really standout bars were, "This shit not for the radio. I'm not complaining though. Still headed to the top of spot they said was not obtainable, because the way my face looked when dudes shot my cranial, how I'm living, this shit is not explainable. Free them dudes locked in cages who was getting blocks of yayo through. Them the dudes I dropped my pages to." So it was just fire and one of the most gutter songs in their catalog. Things do mellow out a bit on the next song, Pete vs. Andre, where we get this elegant guitar loop, which did remind me of something that the Alchemist could have cooked up for, let's say, Currency. It just had that moody, sitting by the dock of the bay aesthetic. This track is short but sweet, and I just think the instrumental is very standout, and the two are giving us another great back and forth performance. Track 7, F and Get High, is set to some playful boom bap. Sonically, it is a change in pace from the preceding records, but it does have that rough around the edges, cutting room floor feel. I can get the appeal though, but one could still make the argument that it does give off more of those unreleased vibes. And I didn't think their verses were the craziest either. You know, actually there were some pretty cringy bars from the Machine. So I do have this as my least favorite. But overall, it does have more of that, let's say, vibe out and freestyle late night in the studio thing going on with it. Second and last song is Judas. And of course, it was already featured on the Alchemist's Lunch Meat EP back in 2018. This beat sounds like it could have been crafted during that Supreme Blind Cell era too. I really do enjoy the neck snap and vocal chop. It's pretty addicting. And Westside Gunn had a cool performance, but I'd have to say Conway had the better verse. Then this project wraps up with Holla and Nash 2. I'd say while it lacks the dusty and infectious soul sample of the original, it's still a pretty incredible beat in its own right. This Alchemist instrumental, it is understated, but it's still rich, almost twangy and cinematic. There is also a great trading of bars between the two, so it does close things out on a strong note. So overall, I'm gonna give this project a rating of 4 mics. I feel it's a strong collection of unreleased tracks that hardcore Griselda heads should be pleased to have in their collection. Even if you heard all these songs prior, I think it's still great that these songs finally found a home. Perhaps this release might also inspire newer or younger Griselda fans to do the knowledge and dig through some of their even older material, because they do have such a vast catalog, and releases like this just really capture a moment in time that I think is important when we look at Griselda's evolution from the depths of the underground to where they are today. And you can tell that these Alchemist beats were older, especially if you listen closely to his more recent production, but you could also argue that they were still ahead of their time, especially when considering that this particular style of production, it never really left the underground, and these instrumentals could serve as somewhat of a prototype to more contemporary sound. My favorite tracks include Fork in the Pot, Michelangelo, 94 Ghost Shit, Pete vs. Andre, and Holla and Nash 2. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Muff. I'm signing out. But as always, it's peace and blessings. Holla and Nash 2, 1.